Hey, so welcome back to another I pitch video, I guess, where I'm going to pitch my version of Ray. So I've done a previous video on my version of Finn. I will leave a link to that somewhere here, maybe probably in the information down below if you guys are interested in that. First off, this is again going to be a audio strong video, and what I mean by that is this is a video that you guys don't need to actually watch. You guys can just listen to. So if you guys are working on something, if you guys are drawing, if you guys are working out, doing homework, playing video games, and you're just listening to this video, then you're not going to miss anything. And another thing is that I'm going to keep to the basic story of The Force Awakens. I'm not like going to completely change the script. I'm basically just changing Rey's character. This is basically just like shower thoughts. So I'm going to stay pretty close to the actual Force Awakens story structure, but I'll have my own little changes. So with Rey, she was abandoned by her family on Jakku, and she kind of was a scavenger, right? So her character would be completely different. I don't even know if Daisy Ridley would be able to portray the version of Rey that I would do, just because I feel like, I don't know, I don't know Daisy Ridley from anything else other than Star Wars, but she is kind of not the greatest actress ever, especially when it comes to emotions. So my version of Rey would be charismatic. Oh, should be more outgoing. Should be almost like Han Solo, Indiana Jones kind of. And my reasoning for this is that Rey grew up on Jakku, which is not the safest place to be. She was raised pretty much herself, and she survives by scavenging items and then selling them to people. So obviously she has to be good at haggling, and she has to be good at communicating with people to get the best deals so she can survive, so she can, buy the items that she needs to keep on living. So she would have to be charismatic. She would have to know how to talk to people. She would have to know how to handle people. So she would need to be very charismatic. I would also, because of the environment that she grew up, I don't know if I would have the staff be her weapon. I'm thinking maybe something else, maybe actually a blaster. But if not a blaster, maybe some kind of trick weapon, like maybe batons that work as like a taser or something. Maybe the baton has it's like tricked out in that it can fire a laser blast, like maybe just one, and then it has to be reloaded or something. Basically, my version of Rey would fight dirty. And the reason why is because she's constantly surrounded by quote unquote dirty people. Like she's surrounded by criminals and she's grown up with them. So she has to be used to being backstabbed. She has to be used to not taking people at face value. She has to be used to using whatever she can to survive. So my version of Rey will fight dirty. She will, to quote George Costanza, what would Rey do? Hair pulling, biting, groin stuff, whatever it takes. So Rey, she lives on Jakku. Rey is the kind of person who, when she fights, she'll grab a handful of sand and throw it in her opponent's eyes to blind them. Rey is the kind of person that she'll have a tricked out weapon so that if she's overpowered or whatever, she just hits something and maybe like a secret blast will come out from something. So I'm thinking maybe not a staff, just because Rey also has to scavenge, right? So Rey doesn't need to have a big bulky staff on her back as she's doing as she's scavenging, as she's like raiding tombs or crashed ships or whatever. Like she doesn't need some huge staff getting in the way of her being able to like crawl into small spaces and stuff. She needs something very small, very compact. So that's why I'm thinking maybe like electric batons or something kind of like anyone's familiar with Final Fantasy VII. I think the weapon that Reno uses, where it's basically, it's almost like a baton with a little taser at the end, maybe something like that. And then if she holds the baton and points the bottom of the handle at her opponent, maybe she can like press something and a blast will come out from that. So that would be like her trick weapon. So Rey, she's scavenged. She's a dirty fighter. She's very charismatic. When she eventually is introduced to Han Solo, I would have her be very almost fangirlish, because I'm assuming Rey would have heard about Han Solo because Rey lives in Jakku. Rey lives in this place where like criminals and stuff like that, scavengers, like unsavory people live. So obviously they would know about like the galaxy's greatest smuggler ever. Like, I mean, his name would be basically like a legend. So when Rey like first sees Han Solo, Rey would almost be like fangirling, like, oh my god, like you're Han Solo, like I've heard legends of you. I look up to you, like all these like things that I've heard that you've done, like they're, you know, I used to hear those stories growing up, like, you know, you're a hero, you're an icon, and maybe like Han Solo kind of he plays off of that. Here's this like young girl like kind of fangirling over me, like he doesn't play it up like in a romantic sense, but almost like in a like I'm gonna let her shower me with praise kind of sense. Like Han Solo is not gonna be like super cynical, but he's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I like being told like all these like great things about me. So he kind of takes her under his wing. Rey does not know how to fly a ship. She does not know anything about the Millennium Falcon whatsoever. So we won't have her showing up Han Solo in that regard. But we would have Han Solo and Rey basically bonding over their almost like they would have like almost like a shared personality in a sense. Like they both kind of grew up doing almost similar things. Like Han Solo, he grew up smuggling items and working for like criminals in that regard, like dealing with the unsavory types. Meanwhile, Rey has grown up scavenging items and selling them to unsavory types. So they're both like somewhat similar background, and that's how they're like. I don't know if I want to say father daughter or just kind of like protege mentor kind of relationship would be, but that would be Rey. Like Rey would be, she would be the more comedic character. Like in the original, in the current Star Wars, Finn is that character. But if you guys watch my video of my version of Finn, Finn is the serious character. He's the more stoic character. Rey is going to be the more flamboyant, the more charismatic, the more comedy relief. And by comedy relief, I mean she's going to be more of the like Indiana Jones, Han Solo, who's another one? Star-Lord. Like character who she's smart at what she does. She knows, you know, she fights dirty and stuff like that. She has her own strengths, she has her own weaknesses. She's a character that can have self-deprecating humor and not have it harm her character whatsoever because just the way that she is. But that would be my version of Rey. When Rey is being interrogated, I would not have her do some kind of like mind control or anything like that. Like Rey would basically be tortured. Like she's getting tortured. She doesn't know how to fight off Kylo Ren. She doesn't use her mind trick to have the stormtrooper release her. In fact, Finn is the one that actually releases her. You can get more detail on that in my Finn video. Later on when she's fighting Kylo is basically just mopping the floor with her. Kylo is just basically trouncing her. Rey is doing what she can to basically hold off being stabbed by a lightsaber. But she's not taking on Kylo Ren. She's not going toe to toe with him whatsoever. She's basically doing everything she can to just survive. Maybe we'll have a point where she's about to get a death blow when she uses her trick weapon. Because I want the trick weapon to play a part later on. So maybe Kylo is about to stab her, and Rey uses the baton to shoot the concealed blast, and that's what hits Kylo in the stomach and kind of slows him down a bit. But Kylo is still basically a formidable opponent. Like Rey is not like using her Jedi tricks that she never even knew she had to grab a lightsaber and hold off against Kylo. Basically, Rey is, if she even uses the lightsaber at all, she's just kind of using it just to try to block all of Kylo's strikes. Like she swings a couple times, but she swings like wildly, and it's obvious she has no training. And Kylo just kind of laughs it off. Like he's just like, look at this idiot like swinging a lightsaber with no control whatsoever. Like Kylo is almost kind of like a cat messing around with a mouse. Like he's just kind of toying with her at this point. And then maybe he's about to like finish her off, and she uses like the trick weapon to blast him, and that's what kind of slows him down a bit. And then Kylo like really gives into his anger, and just maybe he uses like his force to like throw her into trees and stuff, and just like really just beat the shit out of her. And she's like on the ground. She's messed up. She can't really even move. And Kylo just kind of stalks up to her, and he brings up the lightsaber, and he's just about to swing it when, like, out of instinct, Rey like brings up her hands to, like, protect her face or whatever. Like, obviously, it's not going to do anything because the lightsaber is going to cut right through her. But she does this, and just out of instinct, maybe that's when, like, the Force, like the first time she's ever used the Force, happens right here at this moment, and it kind of just blasts Kylo away. Like the Force push. That's what she does. Like, but it's not like she's doing it because she knows how. It's just an instinct. Like, she brings her hands up, and Kylo gets blasted by the Force push. But he doesn't get, like, sailed through trees and starts tumbling or anything like that, because we want Kylo to remain as badass as we can in the first movie. Like, we don't want to show him as some kind of whiny emo who gets his ass kicked by these nobodies. So instead, all the Force push does exactly what's in the name. It just pushes him back. So Kylo just, like, he gets pushed like maybe 20 yards away, but he stays on his feet. He still stays kind of badass, and Kylo just kind of stands there for a moment. He's kind of stunned, like, wait, this girl has Force powers? And in that moment of, like, him kind of being confused, that's when the planet starts cracking, and that's how the fight ends. The fight doesn't end with Rey, like, getting a one-up on Kylo. It doesn't end with Rey showing, like, anything, like, against, like, basically the fight is completely one-sided in Kylo's favor. Rey only got one hit off of Kylo, and that was because she fought dirty. She used a trick shot that Kylo wasn't expecting, and all it did was it just kind of slowed him down just a little bit. But even then, he was going to finish her off, and it wasn't until she brought out her Force power. And maybe we can have, like, almost like a funny moment where, he pushes her, she pushes Kylo away, and Kylo's kind of stunned for a little bit, and then he's like, I didn't know she had powers, blah, blah, blah. And he starts walking up to her, and he's going to finish her off. And maybe she puts her hands up again, and she's trying to do the Force push, and she can't. Like, she's like staring at her hands, like, why did you guys work earlier, but now you're not doing anything? And then maybe as she's doing that, like, the planet starts shaking and it starts cracking. Maybe we have, like, a moment where she thinks she's the one doing it, and then she realizes, oh, no, wait, the planet is actually just breaking. It's not me. Just like a little funny moment like that. That's if you kind of want to have that funny moment. I don't know if you would want to, because that might undercut the seriousness of the fight. But if you want to have just a little bit of like a relief to the tension, you can have that little moment. But anyways, she gets off the planet. She meets up with Princess Leia, and then she tells Princess Leia, hey, like, I think I might be force sensitive, because during my fight with Kylo Ren, like, I was able to push him. And Princess Leia is like, show me. And Rey tries, and nothing happens. And she's like, I swear to you, like, I did it. I don't know why it's not working now. And then maybe Princess Leia is like, maybe it only worked because you were under a lot of stress. Like, your life was literally about to end, and your body just kind of acted on instinct. Kind of like how like, like, you hear stories about how grandmas are able to lift up cars to save their child or whatever, their grandkids. Like, in moments where, like, your back is up against a wall and it's like a life or death situation, people are able to do things that they never thought that they could do. That's what happened with Rey. She's able to use the Force push just because her life was literally about to end, and it was just like it was just instinct. Like, hey, let's get this danger away from us. And that's what sets up her meeting with Luke, where Leia is like, maybe I can sense some of the power in you, but you don't know how to control it. But I know someone who can help you with that. And then Princess Leia sends Rey to Luke, and that's when we have the training. And obviously for the second movie, I would have Luke actually train Rey, and I would have Rey struggle. Like, I would have Rey basically. She's never held a sword before. She's never held, like, a lightsaber, except for just that one time fighting Kylo Ren, and even then she just was swinging wildly, and she had no, like, form whatsoever. So she has no idea what she's doing. Her weapon was like a baton, like, it was a baton with a trick shot in it. She doesn't know she doesn't even know how to hold a sword correctly. She has no idea how to use Jedi powers. Maybe, like, her powers only work when she's, like, heavily emotional, like, under a lot of stress, and it's instinct. And even then, maybe it's kind of not the great. Kind of like the anime Witch Hunter Robin, where Robin can shoot fire, but her fire is always like inconsistent. Like she can't aim it unless she has like glasses on. Maybe you could do something like that where Ray can't use her powers unless she's like under a lot of like emotional stress, and even when she uses it, it's uncontrollable. Like she has no control over her powers whatsoever. She's just basically, she has powers, but she can't contain them. She can't control them. So she's like a danger to not only herself but like others around her. And Luke has to like seriously train her ass off to like help her get her powers under control. Even then, I would have her basically I would have her be cocky. Like she's very charismatic. She's very cocky. Like she's kind of like, hey, like I raised myself on Jakku. Like no one raised me. I raised myself. I know how to handle myself. Like yeah, maybe I have these powers and you kind of helped me a little bit, but now I have them under control. Like she's full of herself now. She wouldn't be like that mean, but more of a like, you know what? Like you helped me get my powers under control. I feel like I can do my force push whenever I want to now. Maybe it takes a little bit more emotional levity to use them. But not as much as before. And I can kind of guide what I want my powers to do. So I don't need to finish the rest of your training because like the resistance, they need me right now. Like they're on their last leg. They really need the help. And Luke is like, no, like the best way to help them would be to finish your training. Like we still have ways to go. And Ray's kind of like, no, I think I got enough to help. So she leaves. She goes to confront Kylo, and Kylo kicks her ass again because Kylo is a trained Jedi turned Sith. Like he was trained in the ways of the Force his whole entire life. He knows how to use a lightsaber. Like he's not going to get beat by some scavenger who barely has a year of training under her belt. Kylo beats her, and then that's when Rey, you can follow The Last Jedi, from there. I wouldn't because that movie sucked, but whatever. Rey gets her ass kicked, and then she's like, you know what, Luke, you were right. Like, I thought that I had enough in me to be able to beat Rey, but I got my ass kicked. Like no matter what, like even though like the little training I had, like it was just no match for him. Like please forgive me and finish my training. And then the third movie can be Luke, finishing up Rey's training and Rey growing in that regard. Like she goes from like a hot-headed scavenger who uses like charisma and like dirty tricks to win to becoming this regal like Jedi warrior in the third movie, and that can be like her character arc. But yeah, that's my idea for Rey. I know I kind of bounced around, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you guys like that version of Rey? Like a version of like my version would be she's more charismatic. She uses her charisma in her words, and when her words don't work, she uses trickery. She'll fight dirty. She'll lie. She'll cheat. She'll do whatever is necessary to come out on top, and that's just because of the way that she was raised. She was raised on Jakku, selling items to unsavory characters. So she's not gonna be like some noble character. She's gonna be like this charismatic, hothead, manipulative kind of character, and then her character arc is to kind of losing her more unsavory personality traits and becoming a more like refined and heroic character. And also again, like I would just have her get her ass kicked a lot because I think she deserves it in the sense that the way she grew up, like yeah, she can take on thugs maybe. Even then, even the thugs she takes on, I mean, if she's outnumbered or if the thugs are way bigger than her, she's not gonna like fight them off like because she's like a badass woman in that regard, but more of like I'm gonna beat you because I'm gonna use every trick in the book I can. Like I'm gonna I'm gonna throw sand in your face. I'm gonna kick you in the groin. I'm gonna use trick shots to blast you when you're not expecting it. Like I'm gonna do whatever I can to beat you. And even then, like that'll work on like people of Jakku. That'll work on like the more like lower class people, but it's not gonna work on a Sith Lord. You know, it's not gonna work on Kylo Ren or anything like that. Like, you know, your little parlor tricks aren't gonna work on me, kind of thing. And then she has to go and she has to train under Luke, and her hot-headedness, her cockiness comes back to bite her in the ass because she thinks that the little training she got is enough, and then she gets her ass kicked again, and that just opens her eyes. Like, you know what? Maybe I'm not as tough shit as I think I am. Maybe I really should just listen to what other people are trying to tell me, and that will be her character arc. Anyways, tell me what you guys think. You guys like my idea? Do you guys hate my idea for Rey? You guys have any like ideas of your own, whether they're piggybacking off some of the changes I would make or if they're just completely different? Please feel free to share it. I really want to hear what you guys think. And also, do you guys like these kind of videos? I don't have any more ideas for like future pitches I can do, but I mean, I can find stuff where it's like, here's what I would have done if the studios handed me the script. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, I can do more of these kind of videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. I'm trying to get 400 subscribers by the end of the year. Hit the bell for notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Feel free to comment down below. Also, this will be uploaded on BitChute. So if you're watching this on BitChute, please subscribe to my BitChute account. Please like. Please feel free to comment in the BitChute comments. I have minds.com. This won't be on there just because of the length of the video. But I do upload videos on minds.com sometimes. I do have a Twitter and I do have a Twitch, and you guys can find that in the information down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.